coming in hot and ready. We are back. Man, week 2, man, full of blues for me, a little bit of sorrows, but super exciting week 2, man. Dynasty to death, host with the most. We reviewing week 2 recap, man. Obi-Wan Kenobi coming in hot and ready, baby. We're going to start kicking it off, man. Greg and John, man. Greg getting the dub, man. Greg is 2-0. This is the most weird situation, man. There are people who are 0-2, cough, cough, questions, me, and Greg is out here without a running back 2-0. 95-61, Greg taking a dub. Bijan, man, looks good. 124 on 124 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 11 for 13. 143 yards. I mean, pillars are balling. Had some quiet games there from Judy, Dotson, the rest of that wide receiver group. A little bit of quiet there, but even Ridley kind of failed to kind of show out. But wasn't needed, man. John's in full tank mode, so we weren't expecting anything drastic to happen there. But handling his business, man, got to give it up to Greg. So far, so good, bro. 2-0. Looking better despite the Bijan supporting that whole running back room right now. John, AR got hurt, was off to a great start with his game, though. I want to say he finished with 18 points. The man was balling. 2 titties, I think. I think he got 1 rushing, and then that's when he got a little bit of concussion protocol. But, man, looking good so far, John. Tony, for the love of God, caught some passes, 5 for 5 for 35. And look at that. He got a carry, and he went positive. Okay. All right. I see you, Tony. Mr. Montana. It's okay. It's okay. What else we got? Tutu, 7 for 9, 9 targets, 77 yards. Yo, I know there was some drama with the Tutu trade, but he's been looking decent. No cap. I think Tutu's been seeing a very good amount of targets, over 9 targets in a couple games so far. So, I mean, I think he's looking involved. That may change when Kupp gets back, or they could continue to take those deep shots down the field. Laporta, 5 for 6, 63 yards. I kind of like Laporta. Low-key, he's kind of been one of my favorite young tight ends this year. He's been productive. I like that. I like that Detroit offense. So it's looked good there. But again, Greg getting the dub, man. 2-0, Big Greg. I see you, Big Hoss. I see you, sir. Next, we're going in with Drew and myself, man. Another burner, man. Drew and I had a little dub on the game, so I made sure I sent that over, Drew. I sent the dub over. Yes, sir. But yeah, we got it done, man. Drew 131. I scored 127. Very close, man. Very, very close matchup as always with me and Drew. Despite the records, I think like this is one of the most fun rivalries in the league. Whenever Drew and I match up, I always seem to get a couple texts from a couple owners who are watching the matchup, and I'm sure Drew was kicking it with Javi watching the matchup there. So despite the loss, Drew, I know I've gotten you in the regular season a couple times in the past, but rightfully so. You know that shit was going to even out and you were going to get this dub. So look good, man. Mostert, 27 points. Higgins, 24 points. Second highest scorer this week. So that's another consecutive for Drew. Drew's looking for that scoring title. I'm sure he's well on his way to getting that thing wrapped up. So far, Kelsey and Andrews got a titty from both. He started in the flex and in the tight end slot. I think he wanted a touchdown there. I think Kelsey was limited, but it turned out to be a great play for him there. Regardless, man, Drew is Drew, man, looking like a force. Kamara's coming back here shortly. We're going to see how he's involved there with Kendre in that running back room, but clearly Mostert is continuing to carry there. So good enough to get Drew to 2-0 with John on the horizon. So looking like a solid 3-0. I believe he gave his congrats and good game already. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite him. And then you got myself over here, 0-2. Not the start that I wanted, but I have made the playoffs from 0-2 before. So not too concerned. But again, this week is a must-win for me. Nobody wants to be 0-3. That is not a fun situation. Ayuk got a little banged up in the first quarter, laying out for a nice grab that he did catch. He did hurt that shoulder. No clavicle damage there, but he did come back in the game, but was clearly a little banged up and is a game-time decision tonight. So that's always fun. James Conner dropped 18 points for me. Really liked his usage there. 100 yards all-purpose. James Conner is looking like exactly kind of what I thought he was going to be. A great value this season. Somebody getting that significant workload there. Nobody else is seeing carries there. So really like what I'm seeing out of James Conner. Addison, another titty. I'm gonna wait a couple more weeks before I start talking about how I really feel about Addison. It's early. He's caught a touchdown in his first 2 games as a rookie. Love to see that. Double-digit points first 2 weeks out the game. Love to see that. I'm gonna check back in a couple weeks if he's still doing things, and then I'm gonna let y'all know if I'm really feeling about Addison. But we're gonna wait. We're gonna temper it, but he's done a good job so far. Definitely one of my favorite rookies so far. And man, I'm one Njoku fumble away from probably beating the best team in the league. But that's the game, man. Can't do nothing to it but to do it, man. Njoku was having a good enough game to get me close. I'm sure he gets another pass later on there, but he fumbled the ball, man. He fumbled the ball, and I'm sitting looking like Owen 2. So we're gonna move on past that, Drew. Much love, big dog. Money was sent. I see you with that 2-0. John, for the love of God, bust his shit up. Zach and Javi. Okay, big Zach, man. Another 2-0 team coming in strong. 129, Zach. Another great showing as far as the scoring, putting up points. Man, Zach's looking good, man. Javi 122, man. Another close loss. Another strong team. 0-2 though. Javi still has a great team. I look at his team and I'm like, how is this man 0-2? It's the same thing looking at my roster. But that's just the game, man. Sometimes you go down like that. This game involves luck. No matter how much we think it's all skill and we can predict the future, in reality, we are gambling on these players. So sometimes the dice doesn't roll our way, and that's a little bit of an example there. Kittle, for Javi's end, hasn't really been performing the way I think we wanted to. I think it's been multiple games under like 6 or 7 points. So that's not what you expect with George Kittle. We're going to see and kind of monitor that. I know he was a little banged up coming into the season. So hopefully, if we're looking for a little turnaround there. Wide receiver room, Javi, gross. Total, I think your wide receivers put up more than 78 points, which is absolutely insane. So if that's continued, Javi, I'm sure you're going to have a better week with your running backs and Kittle's going to get back to form. But man, with your wide receivers dropping damn near 80 points, big dog, I mean, that's impressive for anybody. So nothing to be ashamed of in that situation, man. Both running back rooms were disgusting this week in this matchup. I think nobody got over 7 points. Big day, though, from Kirk Cousins for Zach. I think that same day he said, I don't need you, Purdy, and put Purdy on the block. See you, Zach. 33 points. Hawkinson, 2 touchdowns. Hawkinson's leading the tight ends right now. Tight end 1 and balling out over there, man. Looking really, really good. Still seeing the target shares over there. Zach wide receiver room, Olave, Amon-Ra. Was a little banged up, but I think he got a limited practice in today, Thursday. So hopefully trending to get the Amon-Ra back on the field because that boy is stud. So yeah, Zach's doing his thing, man. Much love there. 129, 122. Javi's 0-2. Zach's 2-0. But again, these are two teams. If they rematched up in the playoffs, I would not be surprised by any category. That being said, we're gonna move right into Justin and Rocco. Justin getting the dub. Sneaky little 2-0, Justin. Sneaky little 2-0, big dog. Rocco 1-1. Man, Chubb injury, man. Let's take a minute, man. Just appreciate Nick Chubb, man. I think he's one of the most liked players in the league by fantasy owners, by real life players, by fans. That injury with him was very brutal to take part in, man. So we're wishing him nothing but a speedy recovery. We know what type of man and running back Nick Chubb is, and we expect him to be back. And at least, hopefully, that's not the last game that we've ever seen with Nick Chubb. Moving forward, Puka's got to be a must start. I know it was early and he was a little banged up, so I kind of understood that. The cause to pause, completely get that. But moving forward, I don't even care if Cooper Kupp comes back. Puka is a must start until he proves you wrong. Zay Jones gave him the goose egg. I think Zay Jones could have had 2 touchdowns, so it was almost a really great spot play. And then he got a little banged up and knocked out of the game there. So I mean, those little things, man, you can't control those things. It sucks. It's not ideal. Chubb was having a great game to start. But man, Pickens on the other side, man, 4 of 10. 4 of 10 is such a weird line for me. I just see that. I'm kind of like ill, but at the same time, I see the 131 in the titty. So I'm just like, ugh, like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, George Pickens, that dog. Slim Pickens looking like a G. Saquon, 22 points there. I know he's a little banged up with the ankle injury. Hopefully that's not something that lingers. Even though Justin did go out and get some more running back help this week, a little bit of depth. Jordan Love looked good. What we had going on over there? Devontae Smith performed well for him over there. So just overall solid win for Justin, making him 2-0 there. Again, Justin's a sneaky team, man. Got some depth now. Moved around. Moved Devontae Smith to yours truly. So 2-0, 3 first-round picks. It's an interesting team, man. It's exciting to see what's going on over there. So, love to see that. Love to see that always. Jeff and Avery. Jeff and Avery. Man, Jeff with the Hail Mary Russ. Blessed up, boy. Blessed up, my youth. Got it done, though. Hunter Henry, 14 points. Another week. I think it's 14 in a row. Back-to-back games. Demon, 11 points, even though we did have a little bit of an ankle injury there. And then just a safe floor, I think Sutton and Pittman gave him 9 points each as well. Avery, CMC, 22 points of over 120 all-purpose. CMC's doing CMC things. Like I said, Ayuk was a little banged up, was in the game still, not really involved as much as I'd like to see, obviously, which led to Debo capitalizing and having a nice 19-point game there. And then low-key, I want to talk about Gus Bus, man, for Avery. Just a nice little 12.2. If that can be a solid thing for him, I know him and Justice Hill. Justice Hill might be a little banged up right now, but I know they're kind of splitting that work. But if Avery can get that little double digit from that flex, he could be one of those sneaky teams. It's kind of what he's been missing. So with that injury to Dobbins, having Gus Bus, that is a good situation for Avery as far as opening some things up for him and just providing a little bit more depth and allowing those rookies and those 2-year players, the Dobbs and the Rashee Rice, time to actually grow into what they're going to be. Talking about growing up and doing big man things. Paul Wall still tipping 158. Ugh, top score. I see you. High score, big money. 1-1 over here, man. Going up against Jeff. Jeff with a G. 121, Jeff. I see you 0-2, right where you want to be on the tank train. But 121's a good outlook, man. I mentioned it earlier in some videos. If you're doing a rebuild, man, you definitely want to be at least putting up some good weeks. You want to see some promise. You want to see Ken Walker get 2 touchdowns. You want to see Jahmyr Gibbs get 9 targets. It is a little concerning with Ja'Marr Chase. I'm not at no panic mode yet, but I don't like when my superstars don't perform. The reason I have acquired you, the reason I talk my shit about how great you are is because you perform consistently. So not in panic mode there, but it is something to take note of. And hopefully that's just directly tied to Joe Burrow because I know he re-aggravated his injury. But Gibbs, man, Gibbs getting 9 targets. You love to see it. Drake London, 8 targets. Really love to see that because I love Drake London. He was personally one of my favorite prospects coming out last year. So his struggles have been an emotional toll on me. But 8 targets and a titty can change that. Dalton Kincaid, 6 targets involved in that Buffalo Bills offense, first round pick. So really 6 targets week 2. That's exciting from the tight end position again. Paul on the other side, Kyron Williams, 26 points. Zach Moss, 18 points. Nico Collins with a great start with 26 points. And JT coming. JT still on the way. Just think about that. All right. Another concerning end, though, A.J. Brown. Not loving 15 points combined over the first 2 weeks. Talked about the same concerns. I want my superstars to perform. But again, if you're scoring 158 with Jonathan Taylor on IR and A.J. Brown not performing, questions. So Paul's looking like he's about to find his form, man. Gotta agree, Paul. Really didn't know the game plan coming in early, man, but it's looking like things are shaking out the way you want them to be. So again, big win there for Paul, going to 1-1. Gotta love it. So man, it's super exciting, man. Super fun. It's an interesting situation, man. This league has been cooking and booking, man. It's always so competitive. So we're gonna continue to kind of roll with that, see where the season takes us. We got some teams that are unexpected, myself included, to be in some hot water, man. So it's the next 2 weeks. Very exciting to see how things take place, see some teams pivot, and see some things, the landscape shake out and do a little bit different. So that's it, man. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to keep it moving, man. Dynasty Till Death, host with the most. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the one, the only. Man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. Shaboy. Signing off.